In this video clip, I'm going to explain how we can use possessive adjectives. We're going to start with looking at mon, ma and mes, which all mean my, and then ton, ta and te, which mean your in French, and son, sa and say finally, which can either mean his or her. So let's start with mon, ma and mes. All of these mean my, but there are three different versions in French depending on the noun gender. If you're talking about a masculine noun, for example, le stylo, and you want to say my pen, you would have to say mon stylo. If you're talking about a feminine noun, for example, my mother, ma mère would have to be the correct translation. Finally, if you're talking about more than one thing, so plural, you would have to say mes. For example, mes chiens, my dogs. Here you can see some examples. Mon stylo is masculine, so it's my pen for a masculine noun. Ma sœur, my sister, for a feminine noun. And mes lapins, my rabbits, for something which is plural, i.e. more than one. The main thing to remember is that the mon, the ma or the mes depends on the noun gender of the thing you're talking about. It has nothing to do with your own gender. Here we can see a real-life example of this grammar in practice from an old album cover. You can see I've circled the mon père, which is masculine, so we have my father, ma mère, which is feminine, therefore we have ma instead of mon or mes, and finally mes frères et mes sœurs, both of which are plural for brothers and sisters, therefore they have to be mes. Here is a final example for mon, ma and mes. We have a small cartoon reading Voici mon frère et ma sœur. Voici meaning here is, mon frère, which is masculine, so here is my brother, et ma sœur, my sister. Now let's look at how we can say your in French. It follows the very similar pattern to the mon, ma and mes. For masculine nouns such as dad, you say ton père, your dad. For feminine nouns such as mum, you say ta mère. And finally, for plural nouns, you say tes parents, your parents. Hopefully now you can see a pattern developing. For the masculine nouns that you are talking about, we use mon for my and ton for your. For feminine nouns, we use ma for my and ta for your. And for plural nouns, we use mes for my and te for your. There is one final thing to look at when we're discussing possessive adjectives. We've looked at my and your. We're going to finish off looking at how we say in French his or her. The tricky thing to remember here is that in French, for his and her, you only have these three options. So son père, which is used for masculine nouns such as father, can either mean his father or also her father. Sa mère can either mean his mother or also it can mean her mother. And finally, ses parents can either mean his parents or her parents. Once again here, it is very important to remember that you base your decision on whether to use son, sa or ses on the gender of the noun that you are describing, not on the gender of the speaker. For example, if a boy is talking and he wants to say his mother, he still has to say sa mère because mère is a feminine noun.